All right, cool. We're on.
All right, sweet.
All right, sweet. Yeah. So the prompt is what qualities make a good leader and what qualities make for a poor leader. I say we just start with qualities that make a good leader. I'll go first. From the text, especially chapter 1, something that jumped out at me in terms of leadership was earlier in chapter, I think it was 1. It said leadership is about what you do. Leaders channel their influence and encourage change in order to meet the needs or reach the goals of the group. And what I kind of think when I hear that is I think a great leader is someone that leads by example, not just someone that simply gives orders, but actually kind of practices what they preach. You know, if you expect a lot from, if you're an appointed leader and you expect a lot from the people below you, then they probably will expect that you hold yourself to the same standards, which is kind of what I mean by lead by example. An example would be like my dad owns a restaurant, and despite he's the general manager, but despite being that, he can do all the jobs because he's worked in the restaurant business for so long that, you know, he can go into the kitchen if someone doesn't know what to do, he can help them there. And not only that, he can go to the front if the bartender doesn't know what to do, he knows how to make almost every drink. So, you know, it's that kind of leadership where, you know, it's not just you're this boss, but you're actually like, you know every piece of what goes into what you're doing, and kind of, you know, like I said, leading by example. Cool. And then one more thing I wanted to touch on was earlier in chapter 1 also, it said that leadership is about who you are. And I think that kind of, other than just having the characteristics, you know, a lot of things you're born with, the kind of personality you have and things like that. But I think that one of the biggest things about leadership is kind of how you carry yourself, who you are, being like, what's your work ethic, how much time you're willing to put in, things like that. And I think that's what makes people respond to you, is when they see like how you carry yourself, how you do your day-to-day stuff. And it can help people look up to you and not just, you know, you be like a manager to them, but, you know, they're a leader. They look up to you and they look to you for guidance, kind of thing. Yeah. Does anybody else have any traits they want to talk about?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I haven't read the text yet, but from my previous classes, that's basically what you have said. I think that a good leader is someone who, it has to be someone charismatic, someone who pushes other people, you know, someone who is a gatekeeper, someone who motivates everybody, you know, around them. But I have a question now. Do you people think that someone can become a leader, or someone is already born a leader? Or do you think it can be both?
I'll probably say a little bit of both for the most part, just because some people can actually stand up to being a leader as opposed to learning it. Because for leaders that might have worked, they learn how to be a leader and how to, you know, do the guidelines and everything. But other people are just, like you said, charismatic, so they naturally know how to motivate people to do their different tasks or even encourage them when they need it. So I think it'll probably be a good mix of both. Be a good way for a leader.
Yeah, I agree with him. You know, like some people are more charismatic, so I think they find themselves in positions of leadership more, especially when, you know, sometimes leadership isn't appointed. It's you kind of just step up kind of situation, you know, especially on sports teams, things like that, where nobody's really defined the team captain. You kind of just step up. And I think that has to do with what you're saying, like being charismatic. So you find yourself just being a leader without actually being appointed. But also anyone that, you know, works hard and, you know, really tries to change like who they are, like if they're not charismatic, but really tries to push themselves to step out of their comfort zone, things like that, I think they can eventually be leaders as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
I also think that a person can be born a leader and also can become a leader, because like you guys said, sometimes people are just ready to step up and do what they gotta do, but also there's people that could be like a little bit more shy or can't really stand up. But as they go through certain situations, it kind of makes them stand up for themselves. And as they go on through life, they learn new ways on how to become a leader. And those situations actually make them be a leader.
Yeah, there are people who are actually more persuasive with their words, and other people more persuasive with their actions. For example, leaders like, let me see an example. Let's talk about Martin Luther King. I think he was more persuasive with his words, you know. Maybe another leader who was more persuasive with his actions would be, I don't have anyone in mind right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of also, but I know you're trying to get at, but I can't think of anyone on top of my head right now either.
I was just trying to know, I think there are like different ways of being a leader, you know. I think some people can be more persuasive, you know, talking, you know, than, you know, doing stuff. I think there are leaders who talk more than doing, and there are leaders who do more than talking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to reach.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Okay.
I guess you guys want to talk about what makes a poor leader?
Yeah, does anybody want to
Or do you
start?
want to continue with
It's
I guess I could
up to you.
start. I think for poor leaders, like especially if people are like new to something, or like in my case at work, we had a person who was trying to do a management position, went to our department, but since they didn't really know about how the room ran or anything, they would always cause everything to get pushed back, because they would put people in assignments that they weren't trained to do or even had knowledge to do it. So it would end up hurting us. So we would actually have to like tell him like, hey, we can't do this. This person doesn't know how to do this type of position. So we'd have to kind of guide him through in order for him to actually learn how to lead us in the correct way. That way we can, you know, finish on time and not leave late or cause any problems with anyone else.
Right.
Okay, so I will talk about both being a good leader and a bad leader. I haven't got the book. I just got it now, so I haven't read chapter 1 or 2. But I believe that based on the lectures and what I believe in, I believe that a good leader is someone who helps people achieve their goals and reach the best of themselves while still reaching the organization goals or whatever group they're in or whatever the goals are. An example I can talk about is, well, I worked at a shelter where we supervise, take care of kids. And there's like about 40 workers there. And we have like about 120 kids. So each of us has like this task to do every day. And the shift leaders will assign everyone what they're supposed to do throughout the day. And some people there's people that want to learn new things, or maybe they're bored of a task and they want to go ahead and start and learn another one. So what the shift leader would do is just choose the people that they liked, or I would call it favoritism. And only those people were the ones who would actually do, I guess, like the fun stuff or the things that they asked to do. And there was other people who would ask to like learn new stuff, and they wouldn't allow them to. So I guess that's the bad part about that shift leader. She wasn't being a good leader because she was, I would say, maybe taking away that chance from those people that wanted to grow and learn new things. So yeah, I really think it's really important to help people get the best out of themselves and like learn more and grow professionally or whatever they want to grow in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think favoritism is definitely. I mean, it exists unfortunately in all types of leadership. You know, I mean, even ourselves, even us, I think we find ourselves without even realizing it, tend even in a leadership position to favor certain people. Because I think it's just something naturally that we do, but I think as a good leader, that's something you have to try to put aside, especially when it's something professional like work, or like what you were talking about, something like that where you really have to try to not let that affect what you're doing. And yeah, I would say that would be a bad leadership quality to do any sort of favoritism. And then that also kind of leads to things like, I mean, not quite as dramatic, but I was going to say, like, you know, discrimination. That's kind of, I mean, that eventually could lead to the same thing. I mean, if you just naturally find yourself favoring a certain sex, or just you favor one person because they think they're a little funnier, like, but they're not actually doing better work. Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, we can see like favoritism like mostly everywhere, even in certain classes.
Mm-hmm.
You can see like certain professors being more friendly to certain students and not so friendly with others, you know. I think that's definitely a quality of a poor leader, because you have to treat everybody the same, you know.
Yeah, especially in a situation like that, a teacher, where, you know, you're directly deciding whether the student passes or fail, and
Exactly.
it's something that is important as a class. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think another bad quality, since I already talked about good qualities, I'll talk about a bad one. Is someone a leader who doesn't understand that, you know, whether or not you're successful. This is also from the book. That success is the product of leaders and followers' joint efforts. So that's what I think is important, is that it's not just about a leader delegating tasks and things like that. It's a joint effort, you know. You shouldn't expect to not do any work just because you're a manager and be able to you know, delegate all this work. You should be doing, as a leader, you should strive to be doing more than the people under you. Just for yourself, to truly be a leader, you should be, you know, going above and beyond kind of things to show you know, those that are looking up to you for leadership, that, you know, not only are they giving you tasks and helping you with what you're doing, they're also doing their own projects and trying to succeed on their own. I think that's what you need to be as a leader, not someone who just thinks that, you know, if we're behind, I can just give it all to those that are under me and make them pick up the slack, kind of thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Would you actually just finish what you have to say? I'm sorry. Please finish. Okay. I just have a question, just, you know, just to move on with the conversation. Do you guys think that your parents are good leaders? Just being honest. I'm gonna start. I don't think my parents are good leaders, to be honest.
Why not?
I think they're very like authoritarian, you know. And mainly my mom, she just want to do whatever it's in her mind, you know. She doesn't really care about what do you think about it, you know. If she thinks that's the right way to do, she will do it. She doesn't care. Sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
my dad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, my dad is. I don't know. I just think he talks too much. That's all. He talks too much. So annoying to hear sometimes. Oh my god. But yeah, I think he can be way more. How can I say? Charismatic. I think he's definitely not like my mom. He tried to reach a common sense, you know, which is something which is the quality of a good leader.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's a little bit kind of laissez-faire, you know, just let things happen. So yeah, but in some, I don't think they're good leaders.
I think that being an authoritarian leader really depends on the position that you are, right? I guess like a parent can be that way with their children, because they're like, okay, you have to listen to me, and I'm trying to raise you this way, and you know, for us to like have the values that they have, or whatever it may be. Another example could be like a police. You know, police can be lenient with us. They have to like follow the law, and they want us to follow the law. So I guess that's a good example of being authoritarian. also like a teacher. They're very direct on the instructions that they give you, the way you should do a math problem or the way you should do your writing paper. So I guess it really depends. Maybe like in a management position, let's say you work like at a factory or something like that, depending on what the tasks may be, sometimes they could be a little more democratic than authoritarian. So, and sometimes they just have to be authoritarian. They have to give you direct instructions, and it has to be done that exact way in order for to achieve the final goal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, parents. I mean, that's just different for everyone, But I would say a majority of parents are probably pretty authoritarian. My parents were pretty authoritarian. But I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, when it comes to something like, I mean, it's like almost like when you're with your parents, it's like the military. It's like a level. They have to teach you some sort of discipline. And that'll always kind of seem authoritarian, even though they're trying to help, but it doesn't always seem like it.
Sure.
Does anybody else want to have any leadership qualities they want to talk about?
I don't, like, how long have we been? I cannot even check the timing.
I can't either, but I'm pretty sure it's been 12 minutes.
If we have passed the time, I think it's enough, maybe.
Yeah.
Unless everybody has anything.
4:40, I want to say. I mean 4:30. 4:30.
That's about 12 minutes. Finish at the 4:40 or 4:30.
4:30. Okay. Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
No.
I think I'm good for now.
Yeah, I think that's about I could think of right now. Top of my head.
And who will be responsible for submitting the?
I think I'll have the link, so I'll submit it. I'll put you guys' names too.
Okay, thank you, man.
I'm gonna wait a little bit though. I'm not gonna submit it right away. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. But I'll submit it by today.
Also, did anyone turn in the times that we were supposed to turn in on?
No, but I emailed her and
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she said that if we hadn't gotten in touch with all our groups yet, we could wait on turning in the schedule. But you said you did.
Yeah, I did. I think if you go, aren't you guys on group 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
So if you go on Blackboard, you can see.
Yeah, I saw somebody turned something in there. So.
Oh.
Because when I go to it, it says someone turned something in. But
oh, well, that was fun.
I could do it again. But I think I don't know when do you guys want to meet though? Are you guys cool with Thursdays, like around this time?
Definitely. I think that's perfect
fine.
for me.
I'm
Unless you guys want to change.
Generally, yeah, it works, Johnathan.
Yeah, it works for me. I'm off Thursdays all day. So work.
Okay. Yeah, and if anything changes, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. We kind of, I mean, even though we're supposed to meet on Thursdays, I mean, if someone can't make it, I could make it work if we have to change it. So.
Okay. So you're Johnathan, right?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, so you're okay.
I'm Liam.
You're Liam. Oh, you're Liam.
Yeah, I'm Liam.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the broadcast.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
All right.